And are you ready for some unindoctrination? I'm Jeffrey Daugherty, the Christian Whistleblower, the mailman, coming to you live from the heartland of America, wall to wall, treetop tall, with the spirit of 1776 and a rebel yell. We're locked and loaded. We're ready to go. We've been pushed too far, and the line is drawn in the sand. Don't push us any farther. You won't like the results, but you will like what we're talking about here tonight. A special Sunday doubleheader. I was itching to do another show. We've got one ready. So we are about to rock and roll. Lindsay, not yet, but it won't be long before you have mail, because we're going to be bringing it tomorrow night. Remember, on the Modern Day Debate channel, I will be debating with a gentleman named Nathan Thompson. He's on my side, and we're debating some other people that are going to be debating that the world is round. We're going to be debating that it's flat. Don't overthink it. It's going to be a good debate. It's going to be fun. And I'm sure a good time will be had by all. That's 9 p.m. Eastern time on tomorrow, Monday, the last day of August 31st in the year 2020 or 1020, whatever it may be. And then Tuesday night, ladies and gentlemen, it's like old home, back again with the one, the only, Rex Bear on the Leak Project. And that'll be at 9 p.m. Central Time, 8 Mountain. So go ahead and check all that stuff out. And John Price said Abraham was a fictional character and got banned from Facebook for 30 days. Well, if you haven't been banned from Facebook, John, you ain't shit. So congratulations, brother. You are. Good for you. So let's take a look at something. And we come out of Caesar's Messiah. We're trying to get through that book. I get distracted, but my good friend Joe Atwell wrote a great book called Caesar's Messiah, and we're going to be coming to you from Caesar's Messiah today, and it's nice to see all of you in the house. Kind of an impromptu show, but that's okay. We got some great information to share, and I was just jonesing to do some more podcast excellence. So tonight, without any further ado, the calculated lies of Christian prophecy. The calculated lies of Christian prophets, which proves they're demons. Well, at least as defined in the script, but we can at least say they're unclean. So let's take a look at this, and let's see where Joseph Atwell's coming from, and let's take a look at this entire genre. I think you would really like it. Christian lies about the Jesus character and his doomsday prophecy. And there's a lot of people out there that just love doomsday prophecy. Give me some bad news. Give me some worse news. Give me some horrible news. I like it. I love it. I want some more of it. I want to hear how we're all going to get our heads chopped. I want to hear how we're all going to get the mark of the beast. I want to hear about the new temple. I want to hear about the red heifer. I want to hear about trumpets and vials and bowls. I want to hear about all that bad stuff, because all they want to hear is about the bad stuff. And all I want is to have a nice sip of hot coffee and talk about how you're divine, you're sovereign, and you're free. You don't have to go and bend the knee to anybody's savior, because you don't need salvation. You've got the spark of divinity within. Good day to you from Oz. Nice to see you in the chat room tonight. And when you see the italics in this program, and it's not bold, and you'll know that's Joe Atwell. And when you see the bold italics, you'll know that is the script. And when you see it not in italics, you'll know it's me. But don't worry, I'll be here with you the whole time. So many Christians hold a position. In fact, now it's hard to find a Christian that doesn't. All of the evangelical Roman Protestants and the evangelical Roman Catholics all believe, almost without fear of contradiction, that many Christians, almost all of them, hold a position that the doomsday prophecies of Jesus do not refer to the generation of Jews to whom he was actually speaking. Instead, these people decide to leave the context, leave the text and just decide what they want to be true is true. So instead, they believe that the Jesus character was speaking about some unspecified time still in the future. And Joe Atwell says, and I certainly concur with him, I feel that this futurist understanding is incorrect and has the effect of obfuscating the words of the Jesus character, thereby making it difficult to understand the meaning they conveyed in the first century. We're going to break those words down. And he's right. And then he caps off this section by saying, no real understanding. Scotland, boom. I'm glad that you liked the Patton show. It was tremendous. Thank you for it. We got Australia, we got Scotland, all kinds of great stuff. And Joe Patton says no real understanding of the New Testament is possible without knowing what Jesus meant when he used the word generation to the people that heard it. A text without a context is a pretext. And almost every single doctrine that you believe today as a Christian, every single doctrine that you hear preached today from Christians, whether they're mass media Christians or ass media Christians, you know, the baby toothers that are afraid to debate yours truly, whenever you hear them talking, they're talking about a pretext, not a context, because they're out of context. And we're going to show you exactly what I mean here. Many Christians hold a position that the doomsday predictions of Jesus weren't directed to the Jews he was actually speaking to. Instead, they believe that he was speaking about some unspecified time in the future. And folks, I'm telling you, 99%, over 99% of Christians believe this. Well, Jeff, who are you to say what 99% of Christians believe? Well, I'll tell you. For 20 years, I was a Protestant evangelist. And what that means is I went from church to church to church to church. And when you go from church to church for 20 years, you get a pretty good understanding of the views of a lot of different people from a lot of different churches. And I'm telling you, over 99% of them believe that, oh, well, Jesus wasn't really talking to those people. He was talking to us here at the end of time. If you take it out of context, you got a pretext. A text without a context is a pretext. And the thing about it is most Christians don't even know why they believe that the Jesus character wasn't talking to the people he was talking to, but he was talking to somebody else. And they don't realize that the only reason they hold this position is because the preachers they've been listening to, the teachers they've been listening to, the gurus they've been listening to have been teaching them Jesuit doctrine. Jesuit doctrine, period. Did you know that it wasn't until the Jesuit priest, Francisco Ribera, about 1585, 90-ish, until he wrote his book, there was no such thing as what's called the futurist interpretation of Scripture. Everybody, from year one all the way down until 1590, let's say, all believed that Revelation, Matthew, Daniel, all of the prophetic scriptures were in the past. And it wasn't until this Jesuit theologian wrote his book about the futurist Christian eschatological view that means the end times. Francisco Ribera from the Encyclopedia Britannica was a Spanish Jesuit theologian who's identified with the futurist Christian eschatological view. That's because he invented it. He invented it. Think about what you're saying. Think about what I'm saying. Think about what you're hearing. Here is 99% of the Christians and 100% of the Protestants. The Protestants who trace their lineage back to the Protestant reformers in the Protestant Reformation. And Ribera and the Jesuits were created to form the Counter-Reformation. So what they're doing is they now believe the doctrines and the beliefs of the people that were trying to kill them. The people that were trying to kill Martin Luther, John Calvin, and all the rest of the reformers. Those people that were trying to kill them, now the doctrine of the killers is what 99% of the Christians believe today, because they all believe futurism. Isn't that amazing? It's only been less than 500 years, right? 16, 17, 18, 19. Yeah, about 5 years, 600 years. What's 100 years between friends, right? Historically, it's been a very, very short time from everybody believing that there is no futurist interpretation and to a Jesuit writing one book. And now everybody, even the people that were enemies of the Jesuits and still are enemies of the Jesuits, believe the Jesuit doctrine. It really beggars description. It really does. It's the craziest thing that I've ever seen. And of course, we are quoting Mr. Atwill that he thinks the futurist interpretation is incorrect, and he thinks it's obfuscating the words of the Jesus character. What does obfuscate mean? It means to render obscure. It means to make it unclear. It means to make it unintelligible. And Joe Atwell's 100% right. This is exactly what the Christian clergy wants to do. This is what the Christian clergy is empowered to do. This is what your YouTube guru who calls himself Christian or Christian light, this is what he's trying to do. This is what she's trying to do. If they're preaching prophecy, they're trying to obscure your understanding. If they're preaching prophecy, they're trying to make your understanding unclear. And if they're preaching prophecy, they're trying to make it unintelligible for you. Because only by keeping the script, you call it the scriptures, I call it the script, only by keeping the script obscure, unclear, and unintelligible, can they keep the people who they call the laity, because they just want you to lay down and do what they say, and they want you to lay down for other reasons too, that we won't go into on this program, the laity. What's it called when you have sex with somebody? It's getting laid, right? The laity, getting laid. Connect the dots. And only by keeping it obscure, unclear, unintelligible can they keep the people dependent upon them for clarity and understanding. If you can't understand the Bible on your own, what do you got to do? Who do you call? You call the Holy Ghost Busters, and they tell you what to think. They tell you what to believe. They tell you that you're wrong for asking, and it shows you have a lack of faith. So just shut up and go with the program. It's obfuscation, rendering obscure, unclear, unintelligible by design. By design. They want to lay you, man, and they want to lay you, girls, so just be a laity. Do what you're told. If you don't understand what the text meant to those who heard it, then you don't understand what the text meant. If you don't get what the people that first heard it thought, believed, understood, if you don't get the context of the original audience, then you don't get it. And this is why you baby toother Christian phony truthers are a bunch of bitch ass punks. That's what you are. You are bitch ass punks. Because with one side of your crooked, filthy little mouths, I told you I wanted to do a show. With one side of your crooked little filthy mouths, you'll talk about, we've got to stand strong for the original intent of the framers of our Constitution. We've got to stand strong for the original intent of the framers of our Bill of Rights. We've got to have judges, Supreme Court judges. We've got to have senators. We've got to have representatives. We've got to have a president that stands strong for the original intent of our founding documents. And then you little bitches, you slimy, smarmy, sparky little bitch-ass punks will turn around with that same filthy mouth out the other side of your mouth and say, oh, No, Jesus wasn't talking about the original intent. He's talking about the modern intent. I almost said the bad F-bomb. You're hypocrites, every damn one of you. And that's why you don't have the balls to come on here and debate me. Number one, I'd kick your ass all the way back to where you're from. Number two, people would see you get your ass kicked and leave your channel. Number three, you'd lose your money because they wouldn't nobody be paying you because you got your ass handed to you by an ass. And I forgot where I was going with that. Lionel says, don't be mad. Bro, I ain't mad. I'm having fun. This is me having fun. But with one side of their mouth, these so-called truthers, oh, original intent, original intent, original intent. That's great for the Constitution. It's great for the Bill of Rights. It's great for our founding documents. But what about the founding documents of the religion you claim to espouse? How about those founding documents? How about that original intent? If you don't understand what it meant to those who heard it first, then you don't understand what it means now. It's impossible. And it's not just me that says it. Joe Atwell says so. He says there's no real understanding of the New Testament. It's impossible without knowing what Jesus meant when he said the word generation, talking about my generation. There's the book, Caesar's Messiah, Joseph Atwell. If you buy it, buy the Flavian Signature Edition. It's the one you want. And I recommend that you do buy that book. You're much better off reading that book than you are reading the Bible. I don't even think you should. I recommend that most people don't even read the Bible. It's dangerous. It really is. So, in the Christian clergy, the mass media, the ass media, your guru, YouTube gurus, they don't want you to understand. They want you ignorant with your legs spread and your wallets open. That's what they want. Bend over. Here it comes again. Bohica, it's called in the Air Force. In the Army. At least in the Air Force. I wasn't in the Army. Oh, somebody said Tracy did a great analogy. What's it say? Arguing about skin colors, like judging a person because of the color of the car they drive. Well stated. Please try to stay on topic. I've been wanting to say that to her. That's awesome. All right, folks. Back on topic. But while we're at it, somebody said, Jeff, don't you take a break? Well, I do take breaks, but you've got to understand, I live my life in a focused life force energy, high consciousness environment. So I am up, revving, raring, and ready to go 24/7, 365. And you can be too, if you take advantage of the focused life force energy. They send a high consciousness environment right to your home or right through your phone. And if it's the phone, you can actually take it out and expose some of these other crazy bitches to that high, fluffy consciousness environment. Good for yourself, good for your pets, good for your plants, helps ground you, EMF mitigation, nutrient uptake into your system. Go jeffreydaugherty.com, get it. You'll be glad that you did. But what you've got to understand is anybody that's teaching you prophecy, they do not want you to understand. Anybody that's teaching you about the end times, they don't really want you to understand. They don't want you to have any real understanding. They want you afraid, laid, and paid. Oh, that's what they're looking for. They're looking to make people afraid. They're looking for people that they want people to be afraid, laid, and done paid. You know what I'm talking about. It was almost smooth. But anyway, no real understanding of the New Testament is possible without understanding what the Jesus character meant by the word generation. Talking about my generation. The word's Genea. And we're back to Joseph Atwell now. Early in the 20th century, and in the parentheses, I add those in. Early in the 20th century, some Roman Protestant Christians began to posit or to think or to suggest that the Jesus character did not mean that generation of Jews alive in his lifetime, but he meant the entire race of Jews would not pass away until all these things having first taken place. So when Jesus said, there's some standing among you here, that all these things are going to be fulfilled with some of you still standing here alive. He didn't really mean that some people standing there would still be alive when all these things happen. No. What he really meant was that the race of Jews won't pass away until all these things have taken place. You know that is wrong. You don't have to study it. You don't have to look it up. All you have to do is listen to your inner being. They'll tell you, no, that's bullshit. And you know what's bullshit. And Joseph Atwell's going to help you. It's easy to understand their desire for such an interpretation. Because if Jesus was really referring to the Jews that were then alive during his lifetime, then that means his second coming must have happened in 70 AD. And I love Joe's understated ways. He said, such an understanding leaves Christianity in an awkward position. Yeah, just like they want to put you in an awkward position. The truth is, and this is me again, the truth is that if Christianity is wrong about this futurist idea, then the entire structure of eschatology or end times prophecy teaching falls apart. And if end time prophecy falls apart, then Christianity as we know it is finished. And bend over for the second coming. Oh my, Brandon, that's funny. If it's wrong, and it is, then that means that Christianity is finished, and it is. Christianity is aligned with communism. It's aligned with Limism. It's aligned with Freemasonry, Illuminati, Jesuitism, and all of those things are finished, done, over. And this is the last stand. They're making their last desperate push. And all we have to do is stand and be firm for just a little bit longer, and they're all done. They're finished. It's over. I am standing here today on August the 30th, 2020, telling you that Christianity is finished. Christianity is over. Within the next 24 months, I'm going to have to get another job because the Christian Whistleblower won't be needed anymore because Christianity is done and finished and over. Thank goodness. We'll still need the mailman. See? I'm making sure I got a fallback plan. Now, think about this. And Tracy, interesting comment. The age of Pisces is finito. Wow. How many of you have heard of C.I. Scofield? If you've been around this any length of time, you know who that is. And Atwell surprised me with this. I've read this book a couple of times, but you pick up new things. And I've learned so much from Joe Atwell. He's a tremendous scholar. And I don't even come close to being in his league. He's a tremendous scholar. And I've learned so much from him. And I want to get him back on again. And I really appreciate the gentleman that he is. And he said that C.I. Scofield recognized this dilemma. Oh, crap. How are we going to sell this when people are starting to figure out? Yeah, the Scofield Bible, Uncle. And so what he did in his Scofield Reference Bible is that he switched the definition of the word genea to that of genos. They both can be rendered generation, but where it says in Matthew genea, he, like the little slimy rat bastard bitch ass punk that he was then and that all these people are now, these C.I. Scofields, they're everywhere, and they're all little bitch ass punks, every damn one of them. So they took the word genea out and put in genos, which means a different word, which means race. So if you take, it's real easy. It's just the way the Romans made Jesus into an amazing prophet. Because after shit happened, They wrote, oh, Jesus said this after it happened, and they made it like he did it before it happened. When you control time, it's very, very easy to look like a great prophet. Very, very easy to look like a great prophet. So he switched the word Genea for genos. However, Joseph Atwell says, scholars have showed that the New Testament's use of Genea could only be referring to the Jews of Jesus' lifetime and not to the entire Jewish race, thereby debunking Schofield's position. Tracy says hindsight is 2020, and it is, and this is now 2020. Is this the time? This is our year. We got September left, we got October left, we got November left, we got December left. You got about 4 months, and I'm speaking prophetically to somebody. I felt like an evangelist. I'm making a prediction. You got 4 months to get your shit together. This is the year of 2020 vision. And if you don't get your 2020 in 2020, come 2021, your bitch ass is done. How about that? It's 2020 time. Open your peepers and shut your pie hole and learn something. I've been doing this longer than you've been alive. Well, why is Scofield so important? Scofield is so important because the Scofield Reference Bible was the de facto. That means it was like the standard textbook in all of the first evangelical Bible institutes, which later became the Bible colleges. That was the textbook. Everybody that learned, everybody that went to Bible college, everybody that went to a Bible institute learned out of the Scofield Reference Bible. Thank goodness I did not, because we were past that by the time I came on the scene in the 80s. We learned out of the Dake Bible, which is only a little bit better. But the Scofield Reference Bible, substituting that word, produced an entire the entire generations of all of the evangelical clergy have become infected with this complete bait and switch, a lie. So everything that's being taught by everybody that's gone to any evangelical Bible college, pretty much, is a lie. It has infected the entire evangelical clergy, and the lie came from the Jesuits. So every single person you hear preaching about prophecy now, I could name their names, but I won't because I don't want to give them free publicity. But you know who I'm talking about. Just go down in your mind. Oh, there's him, there's her, there's them. They're all preaching prophecy, end times, eschatology, and every one of them is preaching Jesuit end times, Jesuit eschatology. Every single one of them. And not one of those little bitch ass punks will debate me about this because they know they're wrong. And if you go on the air and Jeffrey Daugherty proves you wrong, you're going to lose a lot of subscribers, which means you're going to lose a lot of money, and you're going to lose a lot of face. I had one of them tell me, I want to fight you. So I said, why don't we debate instead? And then this person told me that their IQ was 100 points higher than mine, so it wouldn't end well for me. Well, then why don't you debate me? Sounds like a slam dunk for you. They're scared. They're afraid. And the entire evangelical clergy and the entire New Age, New Cage, New Rage movement has been infected with this thoroughly Jesuit understanding. And the understanding that Jesus was referring to Jesus' character, because he wasn't real, was referring specifically to the generation of Jews alive at the time he spoke, was the understanding all the way through the Middle Ages. The Middle Ages, for those of you that don't know, started in the 5th century, went through the 15th century. And guess what happened in the 16th century? The Jesuits. In the great Geneva Bible, I don't mean great, but as in the renowned Geneva Bible, the 1599 version says on a note on Matthew 24:34, it says this: the word generation or age is here used for the men of that age when he was speaking to them. Everybody knew it. Everybody understands it. And everybody now understands it. When you read, this generation will not pass away until all these things be fulfilled, you know damn good and well that the Jesus character is talking to that generation whom he's speaking to. You know damn good and well. He's not talking to you today. He's not talking to people last year. He ain't talking to people 30 years ago. He was talking to those people that he was talking to. Period. And it wasn't until the Jesuit Francisco Ribera published in his, you see it written there in, I guess that's Latin, but it was called the Mass of St. John and Revelation Evangelistic Commentaries. It wasn't until then that the idea of a future second coming was ever even imagined. Not until, when did he write it? He wrote it in about 1585, I believe. I think it comes up here somewhere. But back to what Joseph Atwell said, and this makes them demons. That's where I'm getting to the point where those that are talking about doomsday prophecies, they really are demons. Demons in the biblical sense, and we'll get to that. Joseph Atwell says, we're on solid ground in understanding that the Jesus character was solely referring to the generation of Jews who were alive during the supposed 40 years between his ministry and the destruction of Jerusalem. He supposedly died 32-ish. The temple was destroyed in 70 AD. If this is correct, and it undoubtedly is, then Jesus was referring to the same group as a wicked generation. Think about that. The ones that he was talking to, he said, were wicked. They were a wicked generation. And then Joseph Atwell does something that I love, and this is what makes him Joseph Atwell. This is what makes a scholar. These people that are bitch-ass punks, they read a verse maybe. Maybe they show you the verse, but they're not going to break it down into the original languages. They're not going to do it. And they're certainly not going to show you parallel verses that are in the same word used in different places, because that's called Bible study. And then Atwell brilliantly goes to other places in the New Testament where that word wicked is used, and specifically where the words wicked generation are used, because he's looking for other descriptors of that same generation that was alive in AD 70. One of the places is Matthew 12:39 through 40, as you can see here on the screen. But he, which was the Jesus character, answered and said unto them, which was the scribes and Pharisees, or the religious people. It's exactly like what's happening right now. I'm the Jesus character in this little play. And all the other ass media, bitch-ass punk gurus on YouTube, they're the scribes and Pharisees, preaching a bunch of shit, trying to convince you of a bunch of shit. And I'm the one saying to them, and you know who you are, and you won't debate me, so shut the hell up, shut your pie hole, quit flapping your yap. An evil and an adulterous generation. Are you evil or are you adulterous? Great choice. An evil and adulterous generation seeks after a sign. What are they telling you to do? Look for the signs of the times. They say they walk by faith, but faith is the evidence of things hoped for and the substance of things that aren't yet seen. But yet they say they walk by faith, but really they seek a sign. What are all these end time preachers talking about? Ooh, watch for this blood moon. Watch for the rapture. Watch for the head chopping. Watch for the mark of the beast. Watch for when I tell you to do this. Watch for when I tell you to go here. Watch for when I tell you to go there. They're all looking for a sign. Who looks for signs? Wicked people look for signs. Who looks for signs? Adulterous people look for signs. The just, they live by faith. Faith is the substance of knowing. I know. It's the evidence of things that aren't seen. This world is getting better, and it'll be better than it's ever been, sooner than you can even imagine. That's faith. Head chop and mark of the beast, collapse of the economy, tribulation. That's signs. That's wicked. That's adulterous. And all that was worth the price of admission. And the channel has been demonetized for some time. So if you want to help a brother out, the address is there in the information box. So evil, adulterous people seek after signs. Again, all about prophecy. But no sign is given them except for the sign of the prophet Jonas, 3 days and 3 nights in the belly of the earth. So will plastic Jesus be there. This links the wicked generation to any wicked generation that seeks after signs. It's a clear condemnation of the prophecy business and those that promote it, and a warning to them that believe it. Because only the wicked and adulterous people would seek after prophetic signs invented by Jesuits, while people of faith are too busy manifesting their own destiny. And it's also a directly coded allusion to the fact that the Jesus character didn't even fulfill the one piece of the script that it was said he must fulfill. He's got to spend 3 days and 3 nights in the belly of the earth. That bitch didn't even, oh, Jesus died for my sins. He didn't die for your sins, and he didn't even give up his whole weekend. Listen. He went in the grave on Friday night. He got out of the grave on Sunday morning. You tell me how you get 3 days and 3 nights out of that shit. I'll wait. You don't. You don't. So the one sign they said that bitch was going to fulfill, that bitch didn't even fulfill it. That bitch did not fulfill it. In one passage, the entire second coming paradigm is destroyed, along with the one that was supposed to come back. They're both lies. Here's another parallel passage, Matthew 12:45. And then he goes and he takes 7 other spirits more wicked than himself. Ooh. Enters in and dwells in that person. And they're worse than they were at first. Even so, it shall be of this wicked generation. Wait a minute. People that look for prophecy are part of a wicked generation. They're wicked and or adulterous. So if you're looking for prophecy, you're either wicked or adulterous. And if you're wicked, that means you're going to have 7 other spirits come into you. Oh, what did I talk about this morning? You invite the Jesus spirit into you, which is an unclean entity. And he brings 7 more, so now you get 8. Then you invite the Father to come and possess you. He brings 7 more. Now you got 16. 16 evil, 16 unbalanced entities in you for the price of 2. And you gave up your eternal divinity and sovereignty and freedom for it. You got a full house, says Lola. And it's tied back to prophecy. Who's likely to do that? Someone that's wicked, someone that's adulterous. Why are they wicked and adulterous? Because they believe these punk-ass bitches about prophecy. They believe these punk-ass bitches about prophecy. And they wind up with not only the bitch-ass Jesus and the bitch-ass Father in them, but 7 other bitch-ass spirits worse than Jesus and the Father. That's bad. And it would have been better off for you if you never read any of that shit in the first place. And this is how this wicked generation is. What wicked generation? The wicked generation looking for signs, looking for prophecy. You're being taught by demons, unclean entities, and you're now allowing yourself to be possessed by demons, unclean entities. It's a devastating rebuke to the promoters of prophecy and the pathetic people that allow themselves to be duped. Devastating. Folks, you don't want this to happen to you. Get yourself some C60 purple power. Get your head straight. Get your head cleared up. Get your system cleaned out. Get rid of the heavy metals. Get your mitochondria firing on all cylinders. Get yourself revved up from the cellular level on up. C60 purple power has changed my life. And Cliff I says it's the reason that he's still alive. C60 purple power. Go to jeffreydaugherty.com. Click on that C60 logo, or go to c60purplepower.com and use the code TCW10. Devastating rebuke. Devastating rebuke. Then Jesus answered and said, and you got to remember, it was his disciples he was talking to. And what did he say? O faithless and perverse generation. The disciples were faithless. The disciples were perverse. Why? Because they were asking him about eschatology. How long do I even have to put up with you bitches? Even the Jesus character tells us in a coded fashion that he and we should be disgusted by the prophecy pimps and the prophecy peddlers. Christian lies about doomsday prophecy makes them demons, biblically speaking, reality, unbalanced entities. The calculated lies of Christian prophecy prove they're demons. Oh, didn't somebody say that in the last days, people will depart from the truth? They'll have itching ears and they'll be listening to what? The doctrines of demons. See, that's a little live drop into from the higher self into the speaking self. All this coming from Joseph Atwell's Caesar's Messiah. Lola says she's been waiting about the rapture, hearing about the rapture for decades. Well, Paul was talking about that shit 2,000 years ago. There's been a lot of people waiting a long time. So there you have it, folks. Calculated lies of Christian prophecy. The people that are still doing it, they're demons, and the people that are listening to them are listening to demons. Not smart. Not smart. Let's go into the chat room and see what this great bunch of people has to say. All right. Here we go. Amy says, wear it like a badge of honor. I do, Amy. Thank you very, very much. We got, again, Australia. We got Scotland. We got Thailand. We got Japan. We got China. We got people from everywhere in here, folks. Everywhere in here, folks. I got one question. Christopher Brown has just one question. Go ahead, Christopher. What's your question? I got one question. Is your God made for me too? Does he answer my prayers? And I'm asking because I'm black. Well, Christopher, if you're black, why are you named Brown? Sorry. Listen, any God that answers prayers based on a color of skin ain't a God. And Christopher, to be frank with you, I don't have any gods right now. I know there is a divine source, but I also know that I'm divine, I'm sovereign, I'm free, and I'm here to work my own shit out so I don't have to come back here again. You keep coming back here until you figure out, oh, shit, it's for me to do it. I'm divine, I'm sovereign, I'm free. Why won't God help me? Because your God, help your damn self. So, Christopher, the answer is no. My God ain't for you because I don't have no gods. And any God that would give blessing based upon color, creed, race ain't a God. Which brings us to the Bible God. I'm glad you asked that, Christopher Brown, who's really black. He said that he has a chosen people. What kind of God has a chosen people? A fake God. True divinity has no chosen people. People are the chosen people of the real God. Didn't Jesus or Emmanuel say that it would be that generation that pierced him that would see his return? He did. And they did. 80, 70 is when the second coming of Jesus came. Read the book, Caesar's Messiah. You'll get it. John randomly says that San Francisco is a portal to Rome. I don't know about that. I don't know about that. They ain't going to like it, bro. Yeah, they never do. They never do. Laura says they're parasites. She's absolutely right. Abrahamism starts with a God that hates women and trees. Absolutely true. Two-thirds, say Tracy, don't want to take responsibility for their life and behavior. They want to blame the devil and expect Jeebus to help their escape. That's right. That is absolutely right. And Uncle Quester says, damn, that was good, Tracy. Christopher says, you go, boy. John was in the Army. Great. Let's see. Damn Skippy. That's right. Legs and wallets open. That's how they want you in church, ladies and gentlemen. That's how your YouTube guru wants you too. Don't think any other way. Laura Ann Cox says, oi, I used to love my nativity scenes. I got laid paying for them. I don't think I understand what you mean. Oi, I used to love my nativity scenes, got laid paying for them. I think that might be an overshare, Laura. I think that's an overshare, but that's, hey, it's not the first time, nor will it be the last time. Can't wait to see you in Rex's podcast. It's going to be a great time on Tuesday night, 9 p.m. Central Time. Let's go to Golden Corral. How about we go anywhere but Golden Corral or Denny's? I don't even like going to restaurants that much. And I especially don't like going when this whole mask bullshit. Nah, let's do something else. All right. What else we got? They hijacked this timeline for way too long. Yes, they have. Jeff, there's no death in heaven. There's no death and heaven is free for all. Thanks for sharing, Peter, but we're going to remove that right now because that's some bullshit, but that's okay. That's okay. We're glad you're here. Some believe 2021 is going to be harder to survive. That's because they're wrong. The world is getting better, and it's going to be better than it's ever been sooner than you can ever imagine. And just wait and see. I'm very rarely wrong. Let's see what else we got. Let's see what else we got. Let's have a cookout, somebody says. We could have a cookout. That sounds like fun. Pharaoh and I were talking about doing some events and having black folks and white folks get together and have a cookout. I think it might be a fun time. Well, folks, wow, short show. I'm very glad. Very, very glad that it's a short show because sometimes we get a little bit too long. But I'm encouraging you to continue to ask questions. I'm encouraging you to continue to question answers and unindoctrinate yourself. And once you're unindoctrinated, you got to get ready to lead because we're the last generation of real humans. And we're making our last stand. All we got to do is hold on just a little bit longer. Hold on just a little bit longer. And we will be just fine. And Corleone, we talked about having some vegan because both Pharaoh and I, not so big on the meat. That includes Cynthia as well. Folks, this is good stuff. Cereal Dog will bring pie. Cynthia says, thanks for being here. Keep coming back. And that's certainly what I hope and believe as well. We bring you the real truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth. Our give a damn's busted. We're not caring about subscribing. We're not caring about, even though we'd like you to, and we're not caring about not being monetized. We keep bringing it on. And I'm telling you, over the last 60 days, our views are up over 80%. Our subscriptions are up over 80%. We're doing something right. Be looking in your email box, your email for tomorrow. Those of you that have signed up, you'll be receiving the first Jeffrey Daugherty You've Got Mail newsletter. And be sure to tune in tomorrow night, 9 p.m. Eastern, on the Modern Day Debate channel, Tuesday night with Rex. We appreciate you very much. And you know, even though FedEx and UPS could deliver the mail faster and for half the price, we still got our post office. And they used to say through rain, snow, sleet, dark and night, the mailman will always make his appointed rounds. I'm your mailman, and I will always make my appointed rounds. I'm always here to bring you to truth, but only you can think. Bring you to objective research. But that's the water that you've got to decide to drink, ladies and gentlemen. From the heartland, I'm Jeffrey Daugherty, the Christian Whistleblower, also your mailman. And from Cynthia and I, you've got mail. We'll see you again tomorrow night.